not
Listen to
undocumented.
part of what I said then. So now I know that
You
weren't
focused.
actually.
You focused
No,
on the
so
visa.
now you're over talking. So you didn't hear the rest of the ears, right? You were so eager to.
50 Tennessee, I voted Republican down the ballot.
Awesome. Thank you. Chandler, welcome back.
I think is a Trump supporter.
I am.
Sorry.
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Betty, because I got a parent real quick.
Oh, you're completely fine. So the question I have is specifically for both Chandler and Chandelier. I'm calling you Chandelier. Chandelier and Ghost. Do you think that deportation is a criminal punishment?
Yes.
Okay, Ghost, your answer?
Like, wait, I just want to make sure I understand the context. Like, to deport somebody.
Yeah, so to deport someone from this country, do you believe that is to deport? Do you think deportation is a criminal punishment? Meaning, like, I feel like I'm asking this weirdly. To deport someone for being in the country undocumented, do you think it is a criminal punishment to deport them?
I don't think it's a criminal punishment as much as it's just a process, you know. I wouldn't classify it as quote unquote a punishment, but as far as I've been able to research and tell, that's literally their due process. You know, you're here,
So
you shouldn't
incorrect, but close.
Go home. That's it. That's the process that they're due in those cases.
Okay, so Chandelier, you're incorrect. It's not actually a criminal process. And the Constitution specifies, and I have legal precedents to back this up as well, that it doesn't matter your immigration status in this country, you receive due process. So specifically, and I'm gonna fuck some of these names up. I will put them in the comments if need be. You have and you would like to rebut? Say?
Oh yeah, I mean, no, all that's very interesting, but at the end of the day, these immigration courts and immigration itself is controlled by the executive branch. I mean, immigration courts are not independent courts, and the executive branch basically decides what due process is in those cases. So, I mean, we could bicker back and forth all day long.
Not true, though. Hey, anyway. Ghost, who is it that interprets our Constitution for us? Do you know?
The Supreme Court, I think. Right.
Yeah, so is the Supreme Court part of the executive branch?
No. And I didn't say Supreme Court. I said immigration courts.
Fantastic.
The immigration courts are literally part of the executive branch.
I understand that, but the Supreme Court...
No, they're not.
That's false. No, they're not.
But yes, they are.
No.
Immigration courts are literally part of the executive branch.
They're not.
They are.
What? Literally are.
No, they're not.
Not even figuratively.
They are not independent courts.
Can you name the 3 branches of government? Can you name?
Yes, I can.
3 branches of government.
But I don't feel it's necessary because what I'm saying is factually true.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Okay.
What you're saying is factually wrong, but if it is factually true, can you literally pull up a source and put it on your green screen to prove that what you're saying is correct? And I suspect that when you Google search this to provide us the source, you're going to find out what we already know, which is that you are in fact wrong.
All right.
Isn't that why Obama made DACA though? Because they have the say in the executive branch, so that way kids wouldn't have to go to court and be traumatized, so they can continue to go to school. And then Trump said he didn't have the permission, and that's why he took it away. But you're telling us they do have the permission. So who's right, you or Trump?
So he's completely not wrong. immigrants do fall under the branch. In the J, I specified goes. What part of what government does SCO under? Yeah, I just told you were right. So my question. What branch of government does SCOTUS fall under?
Judicial.
Is it? It is judicial. Fantastic. So that's the thing. If the
Yeah.
judicial branch is the court that is determining how or how not to follow the Constitution and interpreting it, then I would defer to the Supreme Court versus the executive branch solely for the fact of is this country is ran and determined by amendments that were given to us at the foundation of this country and over a period of time. So you're voting for people and you're uplifting people that you claim to be holding law. The reality of it is they don't even understand the Constitution. And to be honest, voted for him that said he doesn't even know if he has to follow the Constitution.
Okay. Well, anyway, the president is solely in charge of immigration, and the immigration courts are not independent. And the president, if the president says we're going to vacate all of these immigration cases and deport all these people, that's what the immigration courts do. That's why they're not independent. Okay. And you're right. The Supreme Court does interpret the Constitution. But it is interesting to me to note that Alexander Hamilton, I mean, we always talk about the co-equal branches of government. Alexander Hamilton said that the Supreme Court is the weakest part of the executive branch. So if they're also co-equal, why is the Supreme Court the weakest branch? Do you know?
It's not, George.
It is. There's a specific reason why it is.
Because their job is to interpret the Constitution, not enact laws or write laws.
But do you know why it's the weakest?
It's not.
Just said why they're the weakest.
No, that's not
what does
why.
that say?
That's literally not why. They're the weakest because, number one, the
Ghost,
executive
what does the
branch.
screen say?
Huh? I don't
What
have my
is
glasses,
this?
and that's too small to read.
So, is the president solely in charge of immigration? And granted, this is the AI overview, so I'm happy to go into the actual article S8.C18.8.1, but it says no. The president is not solely in charge. Immigration policy involves Congress for lawmaking, the executive branch for enforcement, with the president exercising significant discretion on how laws are enforced through agencies like DHS, but Congress holds the ultimate power to create the laws themselves, influencing the system's direction. The president's power comes from executing laws like Immigration and Nationality Act and using prosecutorial discretion to set enforcement priorities, but this is distinct from creating new laws or bypassing Congress entirely.
Right.
George, go ahead, and then after
anyway,
you, I'll have to.
as I said, and as it just stated, the president has wide discretion on how those laws are enforced.
That's not what
which
you
means
said. He's
that
solely
he
responsible, and he's not.
is solely responsible. Congress passes the laws.
That's not what
he
that word
enforces
means.
the
Keep
laws.
using it like it's going to mean what you're saying it means.
It does
doesn't
mean
mean
what
what
I'm
you
saying.
think it does.
It does.
Dang it. It doesn't, though.
Where the rubber meets the road, it means what I say.
Oh my God.
Functionally,
Yes.
mechanically, he
Yes.
is.
No, he's not.
Yes. Yes.
Does the executive branch have to listen to the judicial branch?
No, not really.
You can't have this conversation with him anymore.
So if the Supreme Court says it's unconstitutional, the executive branch can just be like, "Yep, we don't have to follow what the Supreme Court
It's
said."
happened before with past presidents. Yes, that's true. They don't actually
No,
have to.
Give me one.
When did it?
Not in
When did it happen?
anyway.
When do they
Lincoln
all get to go to prison?
when Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus, the Supreme Court specifically said that he didn't have that power to do that. Only Congress did. And yet he did it anyway
Now,
and ignored the Supreme Court ruling.
during that time,
Let's talk about
what
the
was
Indian
going on?
Removal Act. The Supreme Court
Excuse
said
me,
that
sir.
the Indian
Relax.
Removal Act was strictly unconstitutional. The
During that
executive
time, what
branch
was going on?
ignored that
You can't
ruling
just
and
jump
did it
over
anyway.
that.
Why does he keep talking?
You
Because he
asked
doesn't
me to
wanna
give
hear,
examples.
He wants to
You
control.
want me to give examples and then you
give
talk
a
over me.
lengthy freaking conversation that's not necessary because you jumped to the fact.
I was
of the
giving
matter is what
examples
was
of when
going
the
on during
executive
that
branch
time
ignored
that
Supreme Court
Abraham
rulings.
Lincoln was doing that.
What?
See,
Can I roll back just a second, really
Anywho.
quickly, Ghost? Hold on, Ghost. You made the statement that Alexander Hamilton called this Supreme Court or the judicial branch the weakest. That's categorically incorrect. He called them the least dangerous branch because it controlled neither
Okay.
money nor armies. He strongly supported judicial review, and he argued for a Supreme Court with a life tenure for judges. Also, you brought up
Right.
Abraham Lincoln specifically, and I'm going to tell you, in 1863, Congress later stepped in and passed the Habeas Corpus Suspension Act, retroactively approving what Lincoln had already done. So again, I don't think you're qualified to argue this.
So what I said was correct.
Jesus H fucking Christ.
he's not intellectually capable of having.
I mean,
an earnest
functionally, what happened with
like I said
Abraham
earlier.
Lincoln is exactly what I said. The Supreme Court said only
No,
Congress
it's
could do that.
not.
Abraham
Oh,
Lincoln
the
went
white
ahead and
folks
did that
telling us
before
something. You better
Congress.
listen.
Before
We know what
Congress.
happens when the white folks tell us stuff and we don't listen.
Why
Gonna
you guys
mansplain the
don't want
Indian
a
Removal Act
conversation?
to us. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Love you
Because
too.
the simple fact of the matter is that during that time,
Hmm.
we are going through a civil war. The states were, the southern states had seceded. So when
Mhm.
baby daddy gave you that information, ooh, what? Out. Oh, dang it.
He's still here. It just
Mhm.
moved the boxes around. He's still here. Where'd she go? What you
Yeah,
got,
you
Curious?
guys don't want to have a conversation. It's fine.
Sorry.
Ghost.
You're arguing in circles. You're not being genuine in the conversation. You just keep
Whenever-
saying what you have effectively said the entire time is the executive branch holds more power than the other co-equal branches, and that is wrong. And when we point out that you're wrong, you go, "No, I'm not. I'm not wrong. What
When
about the
you look it up,
functionality?" And then you go, "I did look it up, and I even put back on my
when you
screen
look it
what
up,
overview of Congress said, Constitution via congress.gov, and it says on line 7 in Article S8.C18.7.10, it says the Supreme Court has generally assigned the constitutional power to regulate immigration to Congress, with executive authority mainly derived from congressional delegations of authority. That's
Mhm.
on Congress site. I'm pulling up a government site, a primary source, and all you can say is, "Well, the president." Like, you guys are fucking traitors. Y'all know
enforcing
your
the law?
nationalism is wild, right?
Who is enforcing
he
the
can't
law?
enforce shit. Why are you expecting a
The
34
president
count
is
felon to
enforcing the
enforce
law.
anything? You
Where-
guys don't actually care about law and order, Ghost Trucker. Y'all come up here and simp about
Yeah,
the
I'm
law,
being
the
muted
law.
again.
While
It's fine.
meanwhile, the person you elected
Okay,
doesn't
you're
even
right. Now I'm
follow the
wrong.
law.
There you go.
He's
I
currently
gave you
having
what
a
you
fucking temper tantrum about a fucking Nobel Peace Prize for wars he hasn't ended. Be
Right.
so for real, man. You're
You're
not
right,
having
I'm
a
wrong.
genuine conversation. You're talking in fucking circles, simping for a man who wouldn't piss on you in the street if you were
No,
on
I'm
fire.
trying to get you to see that mechanically, the way it
I'm
works
trying to
out
get you to see that you don't understand civics.
is
So
that
I guess we'll
the
both
president
I
does
guess
have
we'll both
sole
be pissed
control
off.
over immigration, but you're not seeing
George.
that.
Hero, fuck off.
Love you
Ghost,
too.
Ghost,
Fuck
is
you.
the president above the law?
Oh, absolutely.
The president is above the law.
Hmm.
Actually, let's rephrase that. Has the president ever been above the law prior to this administration?
Every president in history has been above the
No,
law. Yes.
it has not. But
Mechanically,
prior to this
again,
administration, they have not. This administration has finagled and then.
Okay, you're right. I'm wrong. There you go.
Set up.
Ghost, what is the purpose of checks and balances?
Okay, you're right. I'm wrong. There you go. You don't
Ghost,
really want to hear my point of view.
Ghost, what is the?
No, you're right. I'm wrong, man. You're right. I'm wrong.
Ghost,
There you go.
I'm asking questions. How am I right or wrong on asking a question? Don't get in your fifis now.
Well, I've been trying to explain my point of view and been talked over every time.
What is the purpose of
what's the
checks
point
and
of
balances? What is the purpose of checks and balances?
To check and balance.
Ooh.
I mean, I would assume. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here.
But who gets checked? Who gets balanced?
Each branch has their own specific ways of checking and balancing the other.
So who checks the executive branch?
The other two branches.
Why is that?
Because they're supposedly co-equal.
Because nobody is above the law.
Right.
But you said the executive branch is above the law.
The president is, for sure. Not the entire branch. I didn't say that. See, functionally, as I was trying to explain, mechanically, the president literally is above the law. Because for one specific reason. There's only one person in one office that is the highest law enforcement officer in America, and that would be the Attorney General. Okay, literally, the Attorney General has a boss. Who is the Attorney General's boss? The president. So literally.
Why is it?
Oh my God!
If Donald Trump is above the law,
okay.
Hold on. If Donald Trump is above the law, right?
He is.
That's the problem.
Okay, so why does he have to obey any laws then?
He doesn't really.
So you're telling me Donald Trump could walk outside of the White House right now and unalive people, and there would be no repercussions?
Probably not.
So I think you guys are both right and kind of both wrong, but
actually, I have my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Chandelier, you voted with these people.
So, no, the principle of American law is that no one, including the president, is above the law. The Supreme Court has recognized recently that the president has some immunity for official acts during their time in office. But he's not above the law. He can't pardon himself or be immune from criminal acts. They have protections for core constitutional functions, meaning that they aren't prosecuted by official actions while in office.
I was literally going to say the same thing.
Okay.
And I think we were on different eyes. I'm a Ghost, by the way. I am a Republican. But yes, I think what you were saying is like presidential immunity, right? Which is a thing, but doesn't really classify the president to be above the law.
Well, maybe that's another way to say it, but still, it mechanically, functionally ends up being the same thing.
I mean, they can fall back on it, just like the Clintons didn't go to their hearing because they're trying to claim presidential immunity. Well, at least Bill is.
Well, that's also because what Trump did, so he can do that. Even though I think that's chicken shit. It's like, dude, you're all up in the files. Own it. And go to jail.
Can I ask a question really quickly?
I brought a case study for you.
I'm fascinated. Bear with me just a moment. So if the president is above the law, please explain to me why articles of impeachment can be filed and have been filed on previous presidents, including both Nixon and Clinton and even Donald Trump himself. Explain to me how articles of impeachment exist if they're above the law.
Well, that's a check and a balance to his power. That's a political process.
They're not above the law by definition.
I never said
But
they
so,
were totally above
what are the
every
things?
single law,
Are you?
but for the most part, they are above the law.
But you have.
Do what?
So, when I'm going to look at specifically Nixon, obstruction
Okay.
of justice, abuse of power, conspiracy, and contempt of Congress. The House Judiciary Committee approved 3 articles of impeachment: obstruction of justice, abuse of power, and contempt of Congress.
That happened.
All
True.
3 of those are violating a law, violating the capability of what a president can or cannot do.
Those aren't
What he did.
those aren't criminal convictions.
No, they're not.
I'm understanding that they're not criminal convictions. There is also typically a
So
What
he wouldn't
I'm
go to jail for something like that. He would just be
Can
impeached.
you wait until you're
Hasn't been
introduced,
introduced
Hamilton,
yet.
please? Thank you.
So I would argue that you've claimed that again multiple times, Ghost, that he is above the law. The reality is no. Checks and balances do exist, and those checks and balances are actively being put in place as we speak.
Okay.
So we'll see. Chandelier, what was that case study that you brought back so I can look over that real quick while I go on mute?
It's not a case study, but the case studies that you brought up were pretty cool. And they actually utilized them during Obama's term. The ACLU did file laws on premise of the case studies that you did
Okay.
for the same types of they had. So there was
Okay, since he-
RILR
real quick.
versus Johnson was the specific suit that the ACLU filed against Barack Obama. And it's almost identical to the frustrations that a lot of people have with Trump's deportation efforts. And one of the biggest differences is how public Trump's efforts are versus Obama's.
That's a little.
But it was the same thing around due process, right? There's